Tjena publiken, hur har ni det där uppe? Nu är det dags för start. Nu kör vi!
We hope that we have now some nice races. Let us go. Yay!
Okej, här står jag med Birger allihopa. Säg hej till Birger! Nu börjar vi närma oss tävling och ibland så brukar man fråga vad säger man när en skidskytt missar och när de träffar? Så att jag tänkte, vi gör ju den testen nu då, så att jag frågar den publiken vad säger vi när vi missar, då säger du åh. Och vad säger vi när vi träffar, så säger vi ja. Så vi testar, okej? Vad säger vi när en skidskytt missar? Hela publiken, vad säger vi när de träffar? Vad säger vi när de missar? Så de träffar? Träffar igen? Skjuter kvar! Fantastiskt, härligt! Och alldeles strax när det blir dags för tävling, då är det dags igen att vi träffar våra fantastiska tävlingspubliker. Är han där på plats? Jag frågar. Kjell-Erik Kristiansen, är du med? Ja, Dan Martin, jag är med, alltid med, vet du. Vi börjar närma oss som du sa, och nu är det alltså den så kallade mixade stafetten. Nu är det 4 åkare i varje lag, med 2 damer och 2 herrar. Och nu såg man kanske Robin Wintersons fina utläggning om hur det här går till. Vi har 24 lag i startlistan, och Sverige var 6 förra året. Då vann Norge för Tyskland.
Faren har kissat.
Men njut av den här tävlingen. Det kommer att bli spännande. Det kan hända. Vi har 2 minuter. Vi har ungefär 2,5 minuter på start. Och nu börjar de ta plats där borta. De 24 lagen alltså som ska göra upp i mixstafetten 2 gånger 6 kilometer för damerna och 2 gånger 7,5 kilometer för herrarna. We have 2 minutes 20 seconds to the start, and we have a total of 24 teams coming to the start for the first mixed relay of the season. The last year in Oestersund, Norway won the mixed relay. We have some really strong teams also.
Oh, yeah.
7.5 for the men, and we are looking forward to the exciting race. We say good luck to all the competitors, and the conditions should be top, both on the snow and on the range. Det är alltså perfekta förhållandena, utan tvekan helt som de bör vara. Här ser vi lag nummer 6, Ukraina, och det är Vali Semerenko som ska gå första sträckan. Ukraina, mycket starkt lag, var 3 förra året. Samma uppsättning nu här i Italien. Italy third last year, and the same team this time. Lisa Vitozzi on the first leg. And then Russia will start with Olga Pochofarova. Then Anton Shipurin in the Russian team. Then Norway, winners last year, has the former junior world champion Ingrid Landmark-Tatrova on the first, and Kiri Lekov, Johannes Tingasbø, and Emil Hegle Svensson, who was a world champion at this stadium 11 years ago. France also a strong team. Anne Chevalier will start, then Besco, Beatrix, and Destier. They used Doria and Martin Foucault in the single. And then Germany, with Francesca Preuss starting for Germany. Then Maren Hammersmith, Benedikt Dahl, and Hans Pfeiffer. Also, of course, one of the big teams as we have less than half a minute to the start. Ja, det börjar dra ihop sig. Det är ungefär 20 sekunder kvar. Och 6 kilometer då för damerna, 2 kilometer liggande och stående. Few seconds to the start.
We're just a couple of seconds away from the start of the first mixed relay of the season. An Olympic event, of course. And this our first indication of who might be in the running in 3 months' time. So a good start from Preuss in the middle of your picture, and going hard, and Ace Chevalier fighting for a good position as they come out of the stadium, and Tandrevold looking as though she wants to dictate the pace. That's never a bad idea when you've got a big climb out of the stadium.
Yeah, it's safe. I think it's safest to bet on the front, and we saw some athletes surprisingly falling in the earlier race, the single mixed relay, so certainly the corners have a little ice on this mostly machine-made snow, and it's certainly safer being out front if you can. You've got your own line, you dictate your own pace.
Now we generally have a little bit of congestion on this first climb. Snow is breaking up. The temperature, as we saw earlier on, at 0 degrees. If it drops as it's expected to during the race, some of the damper spots are going to turn much harder, much icier, so we could see some very quick downhills.
Oh yeah, local time, just what, 10 past 5. Race starting at 10 past 5, 1 minute into the action, and well, it was only a flat, what, 200 meters. Now it's all about climbing for the next, well, another 20 seconds or so.
USA in there with Susan Dunkley. Can she continue the form she showed last year? Of course, took that silver medal in Hochfilzen in the mass start. We had her in the commentary box straight after that race. She was one happy girl. It was a fantastic occasion, and she seemed so relaxed. She just said, well, there wasn't any extra pressure. She just went through the process rather than getting tied up in the mental thought of the possibility of winning medals.
Yeah, no, that was quite special. It was lovely to have her in the commentary booth. There she is. And in fact, she started the season well last year in this very race. She started last year and she handed over in first place. And I think her shooting came together much more solidly, much more safely last season.
Yeah, 84.74 were her stats for last year, significantly better than the previous year, particularly in the stand position. If she can take that up to 88.78, then I think we're going to see her not only on the podium but on the top step.
And look at this, Susan had gone to the front, so the pace wasn't comfortable. She's pushed through to first place, and now she's dictating what's happening alongside Tandrevold.
Is it worth the effort of trying to get up the front?
I think if you want to just buy yourself your easy journey into the range and just have the control, and Susan's a very strong skier, safer out front. Not much in it, what, 5-6 seconds between all the teams.
There's a little bit of natural snow around, which is nice. Obviously, lots of artificial snow laid underneath the tracks just to ensure that the national teams can get training early in the winter months. Generally start the end of October.
Well, that's right. All these venues are now storing mass volumes of snow, putting thermal insulation over the snow, storing it from the winter season to last right through till the end of October, with machine snow in there as well. New ski suits, Patrick. What do you think of the Swedes one there on the left?
Well, it's
Uberg wearing it.
It's been a long time coming that they've gone for a variation. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to.
It's loud, but it stands out.
Yeah, I remember when the French went loud a few years ago, and by the end of the season we were very grateful because it helped identify too many teams who were just wearing red, white and blue.
Yeah, quite difficult to identify them all. I saw the Germans over in Shushan, and their training suits were very dull, dark green. But they're back into the old suit now. So
number 3 is Tandrevold of Norway. Dunkley wearing 9. To her left as we look at it, that's Lisa Vitozzi. Strong Italian team. We haven't mentioned them yet. They were third in this race last year, despite doing a penalty loop. And I think they could do some damage. They've often looked challenging in these mixed relays. They took the bronze in Sochi as well. And that was with the team of Vera Oberhofer, Windisch and Hofer.
Yeah, they've got some status now, haven't the Italian team? And when you mention those names, certainly the two girls, Vitozzi and Vera, you've got fast shooting, you've got reliable shooting normally. There's Susan at the front, and look, she's strong. She looks at ease there at the front for America.
Well, still only 120 meters or so between the front and the back of that leading group, but Dunkley is in just the position she wanted. Although wearing bib 9, she will have to go in lane 9 for the first shoot.
Austria a little off the pace there. Duic, team 18 at the moment, 6.5 seconds behind. She shoots well, though. She's got a very good percentage in prone shooting.
Mesetic-Leitner taking the 2 final legs for Austria, so it's by no means their strongest team. Julian Eberhardt not racing today. Looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. So, Vitozzi for Italy. This is Sweden's Hanna Oiberg.
This is her hometown, Patrick, so maybe added pressure, but she's coping really well. 5 out of 5.
That's a cracking start from Oiberg. Vitozzi clears 5 as well, no mistake. The Ukrainians get them down. That's Vaya Semerenko. Welcome back to the World Cup circuit, and she's done exceptionally well. Japan, Bulgaria, Canada, all clearing 5. Best we concentrate on those who are having problems, and the Swiss are having the worst of all. They've got a penalty loop already. Kazakhstan in danger of going on the penalty loop. 2 rounds left, 2 targets remaining, but one of them's gone wide, so they will do an extra 150 metres as well.
Well, I think that's more to do with first race of the season nerves, because quite honestly, the wind, the conditions are quite good for shooting.
Quite good for Oestersund. They're fantastic.
This is a great day for Oestersund. We normally get that huge wind coming off the lake, the 30-kilometre lake.
Romania, penalty loop. And what's that, 4, 5 teams doing penalties on the very first shoot? That's extraordinary. So Sweden, Italy, Slovenia, the leading 3. Ukraine, Russia, Belarus take us down to 6th position. But early days, only 1 shoot completed out of 8.
Yes, Sari! Yes, Sari, sugoi! Hiya, Sari, sugoi!
putting down on top of it, he was passing by.
Komm, auf geht's, komm, komm! Konzentriert weiterarbeiten, komm!
One shoot completed, and the women out on their second lap of 3 in this first leg of the relay. Sweden getting out of the range first. Good shooting from Hanna Oiberg. Very difficult under pressure. If Sweden have 8 good shoots out of 8, I'd be very, very surprised. That we nearly always see 1, and it usually comes at the end of the race where things fall apart. But hopefully they can keep the pressure on and keep the crowd entertained. A couple of kilometres from the middle of the town. Most of the spectators here walk to the stadium. No, that's a lie. 20% walk.
So the high point of the course, a fast descent here, a tricky one at times. And then this gentle incline again before you drop back down into the field for the fastest descent.
Semerenko leading the way. The Ukrainians no strangers to the front of relays. And Ukraine, of course, getting the Olympic gold in the women's relay back in Sochi. And with the 2 Semerenkos back in action, there's a chance they might repeat that act.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good for Vaya having her sister Vita to share the room with. She said over the last 2 seasons how much she missed that. The connection between the twins is incredible. they share the same thoughts. They just like sharing. It's comfort for them. So maybe we'll see some top performances again.
Yeah, and astonishingly, they nearly always share the same results. They're usually only 1 or 2 places apart, except if one gets a really good run and gets on the podium. And Vaya Semerenko, no stranger to the top 3 in World Cups. I think Germany are going to be the team to beat in women's biathlon this year. Very, very strong. Dalmar, although she's not racing today, has been on good form over the summer.
And of course, Gabi Sukarlova, she struggled this summer with lower leg issues, injuries. She's had an operation there, and she'll be back, but hasn't done a lot of her interval work or intense training yet.
Was that what we call shin splints?
I don't know what it was. Probably was.
Farova for Russia back in 9th place, but we've only got 8 seconds separating the top 11, so no reason for any of the leading teams to panic at this stage.
Well, Susan Dunkley was 10 seconds behind. She's now in 2nd place, so that's a strong performance. Good to see such good form and strength on her skis.
A clear shoot now, and you can't go far wrong betting that Dunkley would be in front. Sweden have got good skis because Oiberg's struggling on the uphills, and she's making up more time on the downhills than she's losing on the ups, which is very rare.
What a good feeling that must be with ease, no effort, to pass about 4 teams.
Yeah, what a good feeling for the technician as well who prepared the skis watching that.
And for those, the 3 other remaining athletes, they know that that's a safe pair of skis, or a safe wax they've found.
So most teams have a head technician. How many teams have individuals who have their own technician?
It's individuals, of course. Rastoguyev's, he'll have his own. Well, he's got a little team now, but mostly the teams share the team, 7 or 8 wax men and women.
Tandrevold of Norway in lane 1. Sweden with Oiberg in lane 2.
Now, stand shooting was Tandrevold's weaker part last year by quite a margin. So far, so good for Norway.
Last 2 are the hardest, though. And she's thrown the 4th one wide. This one goes down.
Spoke too soon. It was going well.
France clearing the 5 targets very, very fast indeed. Slovenia have got them down with 1 mistake. Just looking for another team that are clear. The Czech Republic hit 5 out of 5. Great shooting from Eva Puskarchikova, and that should put them into the top 4 positions. Italy lead with Vitosi, Chevalier of France in 2nd. Poirier goes 3rd for Slovenia, and Preutz of Germany 16 seconds down. A little bit of skiing for her to do, chasing the leaders with Scardino behind her.
Susan Dunkley, Ingrid Tandrevold both went to the very last shot. You get 3 spares if you don't get all the targets on your first 5, which are in the magazine. You've got to hand feed the 3 spare, and they both went down to the 3rd and final spare round.
And Tandrevold dropping from 1st down to 14th with those mistakes, having cleared the first 3 in the stand position. So again, it's shown to be her weakness. Italy will be delighted with that. 12:32 the time as they exit the range in 1st position.
Russia 2 seconds behind them. Then at 23 is Ukraine, 26 Canada, USA, 27 Slovakia, Finland, and Norway 29. Followed by Lithuania.
Italy through the 4.7 kilometre stage with a 7-second lead. Nothing huge, but better to have it than not. Chevalier, France, losing places on this loop. Just looking to see Sweden's position going through. and Oeberg, who skied incredibly well down into the stadium, losing a little bit more time on the way up out of the range. And there she is in the yellow suit. Yeah, Vitozzi looking strong, Mike. Nice high tempo.
It is a good strong tempo, and again that wonderful shooting and no spare rounds whatsoever. She's only one of two who have hit 10 out of 10, and Vaya Shemerenko the only other athlete to do just that. I think Oeberg, she lost a little bit of time on a range with picking up the spare round. 16 seconds she was in 6th place, all the way to 2nd. So Wolfgang Pichler's training is working.
Well, I've got a very strong feeling that this is going to be Italy's night. Doesn't have so much weight saying it now. I just Vitozzi handing over to Dorothy Vera, who will enjoy this situation. But I have to admit, I think Dorothy Vera is a really good chaser. We're going to find out tonight whether she's a good leader.
Yeah, you've got a point there. Certainly in the chase, there's no pressure. She goes automatic, rapid fire. But I think you're right. When she's leading, she builds her position a little slower. She thinks about it a little more instead of just the gut reaction, the timing, and the inbuilt reaction.
Well, look at this again. Oeberg closing down 8 seconds on that long downhill stretch, and with the skis she's got on her feet, she should open up a gap of 10 meters or so before the finish. That's phenomenal ski preparation from them.
And Anna Magnusson next. She's also a local girl to Oestersund. They roller ski on these tracks so many hours, so many days during the summer months, as well as foreign trips away. That's got to be a feel-good factor for the Swedish team.
Yeah, and the advantage of having a roller ski track under your ski tracks is that it only takes a few inches of snow and you've got yourself a base.
Yeah, it's a great facility. And really their centre of excellence now for the Swedish team. Vera looking a little more concerned. At least she's got the chases on now for her instead of leading.
Great job done by Hanna Oeberg. Anna Magnusson waiting to go. 23rd in the world last year. If she holds on to the lead, she will have exceeded expectations, but there'll be a smile on Pichler's face at the moment. Number 15 just exiting the stadium. That's Daria Domracheva racing for Belarus again. Good to have her back in the squad. 7 is Vitkova of the Czech Republic just leaving. Germany down in 7th, 11 seconds behind. I don't think they'll be too concerned at this stage. They've got Benedikt Doll, the sprint world champion, and Arndt Pfeiffer, a former sprint world champion, taking legs 3 and 4. So plenty of talent there.
Yeah, Germany, 11 seconds. I think that's a little surprising, although without Dahlmeier, the team is going to be, by some factor, some margin weaker.
Yurlova just exiting for Russia. Probably remember her from the World Championships in Kontiolahti a couple of years ago. Took the gold in the individual, but she's got quite a lot of time to catch up on the leaders. Let's just confirm the top 10. Sweden, Belarus, Italy go out 1, 2, 3. Only 2 seconds separating them. If you picked up the rest, you were very quick indeed. I can tell you Slovakia, Norway, Czech Republic 4, 5, 6. Germany, Finland, USA, France taking us down to the top 10.
Well, can they believe it? I think they're expecting it. This is the team they want to win medals in, and they think maybe it's their best chance. I would imagine an all-women's team and all-men's team will be much improved this season as well for Sweden.
Didn't Sweden win the first ever World Championship mixed relay in Antolz back in
2008?
Oh, I was going to say 97 for a minute.
Yes, that might have been the first World Championships, but the mixed relay has been in obviously much longer than that. You have to run it a few years before it makes the World Championships status. America on the exchange. Susan Dunkley pulled a lot of time back on early, but 13 seconds at the exchange they were behind. Just 2 seconds behind Germany. Good to see Kaisa Mäkäräinen and Daria Domracheva at the front. That uniquely smooth and floating technique across the surface of the snow.
going back to that World Championships, it wasn't 2008, because of course that was here in Oestersund.
Of course it was.
When we saw the likes of Schudoff, who was on such good form, and then the battle between Svensson and Bjorndalen was the sort of feature. And of course Tora Berger, who astonished so many people here with the work rate as opposed to with the results. But it was 2007 when they first had a mixed relay in the World Championships. It was in Antolz, and Ekholm, Zidek, Ferry and Bergman, the winning quartet.
Yeah, now that Wolfgang Pichler at the time, he identified this is where we maybe have our strongest chance of winning medals. And then, of course, the team has dropped back over the years, or after Ferry and Bergman retired, and Zidek as well. All of them retiring, and now the team is built up again quite quickly.
And I know there'll be one or two stats professionals out there who will say, but the mixed relay did have a World Championship race. It wasn't part of the World Championships until 2007. We had an independent race in, 2005 and 2006, Russia winning both of those. And they were really trials to see whether they should be part of the World Championship programme.
I think it fits well. It's good to see the mixed teams, and the idea was to bring in the smaller nations, give them an opportunity. If you have two strong women and two strong men, but weaker third and fourth and fifth, sixth athletes, that was the idea. But it's still the big nations that tend to win and come through in this one.
8 teams still very much in contention. I think when Sweden won that first one in Antolz, Norway, France, Germany then decided they had to take it seriously, because a gold medal's a gold medal. And I think that first one they thought, well, let's just rest our big players.
They were, weren't they? Yeah, they didn't, because it's a busy programme at World Championships now.
Bescon for France, the last in that group of 8, and seems to be losing touch as we focus on one of the fastest women on the tour. It is, of course, Kaisa Mäkäräinen, who took over from Mari Laukkanen. We haven't mentioned her so far, but she's worked our way through. At the first exchange, where were the Finns, Mike? I think they were quite a long way back.
Yeah, just get that up for us. I think they were down in 9th position.
Doesn't matter which venue you go to, the Russian fans will be there in good numbers. Norway will Tyrrell Eckhoff have moved up into 2nd place, so lots of changes at the front. But Sweden, I know they're not leading, but they're only 5 or 6 metres down on the front runners. 14, that's Anastasia Kuzmina. That's the first time I've seen her look really tall. When you meet her, she's extraordinarily tall. I think she's just been pulled over. Someone skied over a basket. A yelp of surprise from Kuzmina, but she's still okay. Good thing, that can do a lot of damage to the shoulder.
Yes, Mäkäräinen was handed over. There she is. She seems okay. Mäkäräinen handed over in 8th position, 13 behind. Now she's at the front.
We've said it many times before, but she is the sister of Anton Shapulin. And Shapulin racing last for the Russians today.
Oh, missing the first shot, it unsettles you for Mäkäräinen, but she's got it together for shots 2 and 3.
Dorothy Vera, very, very quick, as you predicted, Mike. Slovakia also going clear. Sweden, every cheer from the crowd corresponding to a hit from Anna Magnusson, and that keeps her in the running. Tyrrell Eckhoff is away. Best day in Tyrrell's life, winning the Sprint World Championship title in Oslo. Yeah, that was a special occasion.
It certainly was. Right now, not so special for Vitkova. The Czech Republic were going well, but 3 spares required.
Lots of time lost from Mäkäräinen. 14 seconds thrown away. Did she miss 1 or 2? I suspect she missed 2 with that shoot.
She used all 3 spare rounds.
Bescon, Domracheva down in 8th. And Domracheva for Belarus, just looking to see where she handed over, see how much time she's won or lost. She was only 1.8 behind, so she's lost a little bit of time and needs a good ski and a good standing shoot to get herself back in contention. There's the standings after the 3rd shoot. 5 more still to go. We've seen a different leader after each shoot so far. No reason to think that it's not going to be like that all the way through.
Czech Republic had 1 penalty with Vitkova and fell down to 15 and 56 seconds. Japan is 16, Switzerland 17 and Lithuania 18. Då blir det åka av på den här sträckan nu på det andra varvet. Ska vi se om Mäkäräinen går upp igen och tar ledningen.
Kuzmina, Vera, Eckhoff. It's a powerful trio at the front of this, and Mäkäräinen joins them, having made up for her mistakes on the range. Hammerschmidt of Germany just struggling a little, it seems. 14 behind now. When she came out of the shoot, she was 15.4, so she hasn't made much up on Anastasia Kuzmina. Beshkon, Domracheva, Magnusson. I don't think any of the big teams are missing, apart from the Russians, who you would expect to see up there. What's happened to them so far?
Well, the Russians just trying to pick up on their result right now. Yes, 13th position, 41 behind, and they've only missed one shot from the 15 fired so far.
But it's not unusual to see the Russians struggling in the first World Cup. They generally have a really heavy training program into the first lot of races, and then they come up once the training eases off.
Yes, I think, yeah, and you know, when you look towards Ruhpolding and Antholz, they seem to get some better results there, and then for the World Championships at their best. What about Kuzmina? Yes, she's Russian, but she races changed a long time ago to Slovakia. She won the sprint race in 2010 at the Olympics. She won it again 4 years later in Sochi. And she's looking pretty good this season already. Would be pretty special if she could do it a third time.
Yeah, it'd be remarkable. And I think a lot of the top athletes will be very, very wary of her performance. Once you've won a big one like that, at least you have every right to believe in yourself, and she certainly does that. She's tall, strong. Any disadvantage with being, what, 2-3 inches, 4 inches taller than average?
I don't think so. She's a very slender athlete, so there's no disadvantage really in carrying weight up hills. She's got the reach, the strength. You could say, you look at all the Olympic shooters and say summer shooting over 50 meters, the trend is quite small athletes, stocky Shetland pony type.
And there are no stats to show that taller athletes struggle or have worse results with the standing shoot, because obviously if your feet are your base, your rifle's going to be moving further as you move.
Absolutely, and you know, you look at your base, you've got basically a 2-meter pair of shoes on. You've got a good contact with the ground with the skis under your feet. You're locked in. And the mats are pretty grippy underneath the skis when you're in the stand shoot.
Kuzmina, Mäkäräinen. Mäkäräinen has worked very, very hard. Having come out after the third shoot, she was 14.7 behind. She's now 1.4 meters behind Anastasia Kuzmina. Not showing any intention of going through. Tyrell Eckhoff is still there. Dorothy Vera's in there as well. Now, Vera, is she going to win something this year? She threatened the top positions last year, but it didn't quite come off.
No, it didn't. And I'm thinking back 2 years ago where she was unwell at this time of year. They sent her back home, and almost that break, she came back with no expectations and did so well.
3 wins in her career. She won the individual here, of course, back in 15-16, so that will have been November 15. She took the individual title here. So watch the targets on the right-hand side. First to strike, is Kuzmina from Slovakia, nearest the camera. Italy with Dorothy Vera generally shoots fast, but throws the second one wide. That will cost her at least 8 seconds. Kuzmina has nailed that. Fantastic shooting from the Slovakian, and those 5 could earn her an advantage of some 15 seconds, perhaps even more. France are working slowly, but they miss shot number 4. That's an ace Biscon shooting for them. Belarus with Domracheva have missed 1. Sweden clear 5 to give themselves another chance at shooting for a podium finish. Nellin and Lindström lined up for the men's legs in this mixed relay, but it's Kuzmina away. 17.2 her advantage over Mäkäräinen and Vera. Mäkäräinen's got to do exactly the same on this loop as she did on the last.
Well, she's got great pace, Mäkäräinen, but the shooting tripping her up a little. Magnussen out in 5th, but she'll lose probably, what, a further 10-15 seconds on this lap.
Will Mäkäräinen catch Kuzmina on this last loop? 2 kilometres.
2 kilometres, let's have a look. I think
17 seconds.
I think she'll pull back 13.
Tirolekov back to 26.3. The Norwegians have now missed a total of 5 targets out of 20. So that's not good news for them. It's even worse for the Americans. Claire Egan's had a disaster nightmare out there.
Yeah, that's a real pity. If the graphics are right, she's on the penalty loop a couple of times.
Kazakhstan, Korea, Switzerland, the Czech Republic have all had a taste of the penalty loop. Switzerland, you can also add to that number. Out of the darkness into the light for Kuzmina and the white suit of Mäkäräinen. 13 seconds. She's already gained 13 seconds. That is a phenomenal climb out of the stadium, and there's still a little bit of climbing to go, and it's the uphill sections. Mäkäräinen must have the most phenomenal engine in there, and there's no doubt, Mike, that your uphill climbing speed correlates to your VO2 max. Basically the efficiency with which you can take oxygen into the body and then distribute it to the muscles.
It does, and look at the tempo from Mäkäräinen. I thought from those 17 seconds she'll get 13, but already, as you say, she's almost got the full 17. She's totally going to go past Kuzmina. I did hear a rumour when I was up in Finland that the cross-country team are already asking the questions, will she race with them in the relay if needed? For the cross-country team. Yeah, she's that fast.
She'd be an asset, there's no doubt about it, but all the training and all the racing done with a rifle on your back doesn't generally help your out-and-out speed.
No, you lose some of the tempo, and you can see biathletes' tempo, it's slightly more laboured than in cross-country. You've got an extra 4 kilos high up on your back.
And for the women, it's a high percentage.
It is. If you've got body mass of, what, 47, some of them have 52 kilos, you've got 4 kilos on there.
7 to 8%, whereas the men wearing 80 kilos, it's only 5%.
Well, they've got shorter courses. Well, that's great news for Finland, for Mäkäräinen. Now, she has had her setbacks this summer.
If you're going to take an all-time relay team, or a current athlete relay team, you're going to put Mäkäräinen in there with, I assume, Dalmar?
I'm wondering if you would. She's doing a fantastic job on the track, but I think if a coach would be critical, she's had to use 4 spare rounds, I think it was. Can you buy that into your team, that risk factor? I think you can. She can ski herself out of trouble.
And who would be your 2 men?
2 men. Schemp he's not a good finisher. He's often passed in that last 400 meters.
Put him on leg 3.
Put him on leg 3. Who would be my finisher? I would normally say.
Shapulin's not a bad finisher.
I'd normally say Svensson, but he lost his
mojo. His
mojo sort of left him there in Sochi. Shapulin, he is the best finisher. Johannes Tingesbo would argue.
Yeah, he might. He won't be too happy with that decision.
Well, Mäkirainen, she's extending that now to 4 seconds. Germany coming back in.
You said she'd be, what, 13 seconds ahead?
Brilliant.
That is fantastic. But credit to Kuzmina. She's done really well, and I think at this stage of the season she wouldn't want to be quite as quick as Mäkirainen. She'll wait to produce her best come February the 5th, 6th, something like that, just as the Olympic game programme is getting underway.
And I think Kuzmina's training structures, training plan is for that very purpose, to be at her best in mid-February, so you don't really want to be flying in your best form at this time.
2 legs out of the 4 completed here in Oestersund. We're not quite at the halfway mark because the men in total racing over 15 kilometres and the women have done 12. So a little way to go, but it's Finland who get away first and Tero Seppälä who goes for them. 14 is Slovakia, thanks to the efforts of Anastasia Kuzmina. Thomas Hasila going for them now. And then some of the danger teams, Germany and Norway. Germany with Doll and Pfeiffer, that looks strong on paper. Norway with Johannes Tingesbo and Emil Svensson. That looks even stronger, so we're expecting a good battle between those two in the latter stages of this race. Italy 20 seconds behind, they're there or thereabouts. Belarus aren't far off. Good racing from Daria Domracheva. France and Sweden 7 and 8.
I saw Johannes Tingesbo starting out. He's in 4th position, level timing practically with Germany, but you'd expect him to try and break free, although to get rid of Benedikt Dahl, that's no easy task. Slovakia 2nd place. Finland, that's a big job now for Seppälä. He's only 21. His shooting stats last year, only 77 hit rate, 77% in the prone, 62 in the stand, and very lightly raced. Huge experience for him now leading the World Cup mixed relay.
Clement Bauer about to start for Slovenia, and away he goes. He's just tucked in behind the, well, some way behind the Russians, but Russia will be a bit disappointed. Svetkov Shapulin, well, we're going to see how good a finisher Shapulin is, because he takes the last leg for the Russians tonight. And there go the Czech Republic. Andrej Moravec and Michael Krishmar racing for them. Let's confirm the top 10 as they come through the second exchange. Finland, Slovakia are leading, with Germany, Norway, Italy 3, 4, 5, and Belarus in 6th place ahead of France and Sweden.
Well, some words of encouragement there from the veteran Mäkirainen to our teammate.
Germany, of course, the world champions. They led at the halfway stage when they took the title in Hochfilzen. Any word of the French, Mike, after that second exchange? They're down in 7th or somewhere around there.
It is 7th, 25.8 behind. Well, that's a quick turnaround. Johannes Tingesbo started with Dahl. He's gone from 4th to 1st, closing that 10 seconds so quickly.
Yeah, he's looking good. You saw him race, what, a week ago?
Yeah, well, two weekends ago, and yeah, looked really good. Looked strong. His dynamic movement was impressive. He missed one shot in the sprint race, but was still up in terms of ski speed with Martin Fourcade.
Benedikt Dahl started 9 seconds behind Finland. He's not made any impression on the Finns, but he's lost a lot of time to Johannes Tingesbo. Benedikt Dahl, remember, the world champion over the sprint distance. The French in that teal blue just coming through in 7th with Beatrix, and then behind them Sweden. They're going to have to shoot 20 out of 20, I think, in this second half of the relay if they want a chance of getting on the podium. Still don't quite have the ski speed to match the best. I'm impressed with Finland hanging on in there. That's good skiing from Tero Seppälä.
It certainly is. That pace, it looks easy. It always does when experts are doing the floating across the surface. That is a mean pace, a tough pace.
Now, I know we've got quite a few viewers who watch in the USA and Canada, so we'd better fill you in as to how your teams are doing. The Canadians in 15th after the second exchange, 146 behind. They've missed a total of 5 targets. Not quite such good news for the USA. They've missed a total of 9. 2 penalty loops have been skied, and they're now 251 behind. And if things continue as they've started, I think they're highly likely to get lapped.
21st position at the moment. It's not great, but with Paul Schumer on this leg and then Sean Doherty, and there's certainly possibilities. They'll be thinking positively. We can at least capture something back.
Yeah, that wasn't very positive about the Americans. There's 6 minutes you've got to stay within 6 minutes of the leaders, really, to avoid being lapped. They're only 251, but that, of course, was the halfway stage. So if their guys can pull something out the bag, Paul Schumer, Sean Doherty, then they should stay in the running all the way through to the end.
Huge credit to Tero Seppälä to be living with this pace. He's lived with this pace most of the lap, the pace of probably the fastest top 3 in the world at the moment.
So he's achieved the first aim. The question is, can he shoot after skiing like that?
That's where I was going next. It depends. I mean, I really hope he is an absolute talent. He hasn't done too many World Cups in terms of experience, and he's staying with the best.
Well, I think Johannes Tinges has eased up a little over the last kilometre and a half. Certainly Benedikt Doll has got a little bit closer to the leading 3, and the wind flags absolutely static. There are many who like it like this. My co-commentator would be hoping for a little bit of a breeze just to liven things up. So here we go, Norway in lane 1, Finland in 2, and Slovakia with Thomas Hasila in lane 3. Benedikt Doll of Germany settling in lane 4. And Dominic Pindish for Italy is down as well. Watch for the yellow flashes. There's one for Benedikt Doll, one for Hasila of Slovakia as well.
Oh, so impressed with Seppälä.
Finland go clear, and I think that rapid shooting from Seppälä rushed Johannes Tinges into that miss on the last shoot. 3 misses from Benedikt Doll. Italy are moving up the rankings. They could go into second. They will go into second with Johannes Tinges missing again. There is no wind to worry about. Hasila and Bo come out of the range together. Now, this needs to go down for Benedikt Doll, otherwise he's on the penalty loop and Germany's chances cut dramatically, but he saves the day. Good shooting from Sweden, 5 with 5 for Jesper Nilsson, and that gets them back into contention for a top 5. Beatrix comes out in 5th position, 26, Sweden just behind them in 27, and what has Johannes Tinges got to do this time? 16.8 the margin. Are we going to see him do what Kaisa Mäkäräinen did in the women's race in catching the race leader?
Yes, I'm quite sure he will. Seppälä, his best previous performance at World Cup, in fact it was the World Championship, 71st position, missing 2 targets. Today he nailed them all so fast, as if he hadn't even been out skiing, but he stayed with Johannes Tinges.
Yeah, skiing and shooting like a champion. Big surprise in this opening day of the biathlon season. Slovenia going up a couple of places. Great shooting from Clement Bauer. The prone, he's never been too bad at prone. The standing, let's hope that that is what he's focused on over the summer, because it's let him down on so many occasions. Finland, Italy, Slovakia, the top 3. Norway, France, Sweden, still only 27 behind.
Ja, det ska vi. Jag har Anna som står här och ska in i byta om alldeles strax. Anna, vilket steg är du då?
Finland still leading here in Sweden, but it may not last for long because Dominic Vindish of Italy has made good ground, and Johannes Tingesbo has gone from 16.5 behind to under 6 seconds. So he's had a tremendous lap so far, but we still have the standing shoot to come on leg number 3 of a 4-leg race. It's the mixed relay, the first mixed relay of the season, and it could be a very, very entertaining finish.
Well, Tero Seppälä beginning to struggle a little now. The pace is catching up with him now. This will be a tough patch in his race, although he's bought himself recovery down this hill.
If he hits 5 out of 5 in the stand shoot and survives to the end, it's going to go down as his best ever race.
Without a doubt. And I think what he's done so far in terms of pace, hopefully it's not over-paced for him, whereby he'll suffer badly on the 3rd lap of 2.5 kilometres. He still looks smooth. No, he's really put a good summer in, and it's paying off. Lovely technique, good compression. Tero Seppälä in 2nd place there.
What is he, 21?
21, yeah.
He'll be 22 in January. So still very much a youngster in this game that sees 28, 29-year-olds really at their peak. We're going to see a 43, or will Bjorn Dahlin be 44 by the time he heads to Korea?
He'll be 44. 29th or 27th of January, his birthday, I believe. There will be older there. Schlettermark, well, if he makes it, if he qualifies from Denmark, he's trying again. But Ilmars Breach is trying again for Latvia. He's racing quite well. Zingerli looking on. Former world champion, Olympic bronze medalist, and many more.
Dominic Vindish will be handing over to Lukas Hoffer, and Lukas will be one nervous man. I never really know whether the underdogs, whether they like leading at the start of the 3rd leg, because the pressure is so much greater than if you're down in 2nd or 3rd position. We will see. Vindish could do with a good strike rate here. 14th in the World Cup standings last year. He's no slouch, got a famous win out in Canada a couple of seasons ago. A lot of movement in the rifle, but great reflexes from Dominic Vindish, and he's certainly going to have a 5-second lead, if not more. Slovakia taking their time. What about the Finns? 1 down, or 2 down now, but 2 missed as well, 3 missed, and Seppälä falling apart in the latter stages. Norway again in danger of going on the penalty loop. Johannes Tingis, he may have overcooked it on that last lap, but he gets it down, avoids the penalty loop, but he's going to find himself at least 20 seconds behind Dominic Vindish, and he's got to do it all over again. So that's 3 rapid laps that Johannes Tingis has had to put in.
Seppälä, that's a real pity. He just couldn't get his recovery, and the experience of this huge moment, he couldn't quite get himself recovered enough to hit 5 targets with 8 bullets.
Sweden going through the same issues. They've got a penalty loop. The French are in danger. They're on the penalty loop. Looking for that, the 6th round. It wasn't there. So Beatrix has got a 150 loop to go.
Did he drop her? I didn't see actually what happened. I saw him fumbling. That's unusual.
No, he fired his 8.
Okay. You have to fire your 8 if there are targets remaining.
I think maybe he was expecting a 9th.
He was hoping.
Seppälä down to 5th, having been in 2nd place coming into the range, and a minute behind, having gone out with, what, 10 seconds to spare over everyone at the start of the last lap. How quickly things can change. Nellin in 6th, 109 behind, fighting for the minor positions now, rather than challenging for the top 3. Beatrix of France, he's not got Martin Fourcade on the last lap, so he'll be handing over to Simon Dessieux.
What a difference a penalty loop makes. Nellin was in with 23 seconds deficit. He's gone out 109 behind, having been round the penalty loop. And there it is, 150 metres of extra skiing.
13.5 seconds to play with for the Italians, and Lukas Hoffer knows he's likely to be heading off first.
Führung vom Schießstand raus.
Here are your three leaders, Italy, Slovakia and Norway. And Dominic Vindish is putting in a fabulous final lap to open up that gap. It was 13 seconds, it's now 23.4. Johannes Tingis, who's played catch-up on the first two laps, doesn't seem to have the fuel in the tank to do it again. Benedict Doll trying to make up for mistakes on the range, but this is the man of the moment, Dominic Vindish, who's trying to give Lukas Hofer a 30-second lead at the start of the final leg here in Oestersund. And that would be just the boost the Italians want. Still remember their win in the men's relay in Oberhof. What a day that was.
Yeah, great day for the Italian team, and what a confidence builder when they can hit the podium, the top of the podium once. Huge belief and confidence. We saw Nellin in the yellow suit go by. He's only pulled back 2 seconds. He's pushing so hard on the track to try and pull back the mistakes he made to go round the penalty loop. And that was a real pity for Sweden. But a great day for Italy. Vindish out front. It's so important, I think, isn't it, to have two strong first two legs, and the Italians are very much about that. Their strength is in the women, Vitozzi and Dorothy Vera. No mistakes, one mistake I think out of all the shots fired, 20 shots fired.
Yeah, you really don't want to be giving away more than 30 seconds in those first two legs if you want to stand a chance.
And there's Johannes Tingis, 23 behind.
Not often he gets overtaken,
Hasilla.
but he pretty much he said no, it's not going to happen, not just before the finish. Thomas Hasilla told exactly. He'll catch him surely on that last little downhill. There goes Benedict Doll. The work rate's always high. Not perhaps the perfect technician. Lukas Hofer, don't build up too much speed, you'll be out of the box. And the handover in the end is safe. Hofer eager to get away. Over the last few years, we've seen Hofer go from a very, very quick skier to a poor shot. He's improved his shooting, but lost some of that speed. What are we going to get in 2017, 2018?
Oh, we'll have to wait and see, but I think you'll... it's an Olympic season. He's certainly worked on his shooting, and I think we'll see a better Lukas Hofer this year.
Svensson has 23.5 seconds to make up on the race leader. Germany, they've certainly got themselves back into the picture, because one mistake from the race leaders, Italy, and Germany could be the team to capitalise. Ant Pfeiffer, he's a dangerous man on the ankle leg. Mike, you didn't consider him for your world team?
Not really. I think he's reliable, but you've got to have the X factor of ski speed, incredible ski speed when needed. He's good, but I think Johannes and Schipulin would be better.
Through comes Sweden. Jesper Nellin, I don't think too many people will criticise his performance today. The Swedes, remember, have been on the penalty loop. They're the leading team that has been around the penalty loop. And actually, Mike, now we've seen a massive teams on the penalty loop, which should never happen in these conditions. And when you bear in mind that they've got 8 rounds rather than the 5.
Well, there's our talking about Schipulin. Here he is, but I must say the rest of his team are fairly flat. They've only missed 3 shots, the second best shooting team, and they're 1 minute 22 behind. In fact, that's improved a little. In fact, it hasn't. It's 123.9 at the exchange.
11 are the Swiss. Germany, Finello, just handing over to Benny Vega. And tight right-hand turn out of the stadium. No point picking up too much speed before you go into the corner because you just drift wide, and Vega just taking it easy. Italy, as you can see, the best of the teams on the range. Only 2 missed targets so far. Now, if Hoffer hits 10 out of 10, Mike, it would be unusual, but if he does, the way he's skiing, I'm not sure they're going to catch him.
He's skiing well. It's certainly a great start. They'll all have a good start. I think the biggest surprise today we've seen Finland, and they're still in 6th place, and Sepalai doing a fantastic performance, but I think as a team, Slovakia in 2nd place, we have to shout their praises. It's so far so good.
Well, their bib number indicates their ranking, and they're wearing bib number 14. So to find themselves in the top 3 is fantastic. But perhaps the thing that's surprising me most of all, Hasilla Kazar showing that they can ski with the best.
Hasilla, yeah, that was magnificent. We expected maybe for Johannes Tingesbo to easily move past, but he didn't. Hasilla came back and passed Johannes.
Do you think this will be the last season for Svensson?
I think it will. I haven't heard that as a definite. He's been around. Remember when he came on the scene in 2006 for the Olympics in Torino? They only put him into 1 race. He was just a young lad then. And he didn't let them down, a 6th place and so close to a medal.
Superstar or underachiever?
Both. 37 wins is special.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the major titles as well.
It's easy to forget that, and don't forget he has been a winner of the overall.
He became a bit of the bad boy in the press's eyes in some ways, and, you know, enjoying life and in the summer outside of biathlon, and quite right.
Well, quite right that he got some stick from the press, or quite right that he was out having a good time?
Quite right that he's got a life outside of biathlon. He didn't mind going out and having a couple of late nights and having the occasional little drink. It's a tough routine, all this training. Long summer months of hard training.
But as many of them will say, it beats working.
Do you know, when you look at how many hours they do and the kilometers they're putting in, you know, you're bordering on exhaustion, you're bordering on overtraining a lot of the time. You have to get on the bike, you know, with tired legs for a 5.5, 6 hour cycle, long endurance in May, June, July. It's not easy. Yeah, but and mentally it's not easy either.
Give most people the choice of doing that or spending 8 hours behind a typewriter, or a computer.
What era? What era?
I think most would go for the outdoor life.
Oh no, it's a wonderful life, but as I say, so many get fatigued with constantly moving to training camps, packing. I can't complain. I had many years in biathlon, but many couldn't take it with the travel and the hard training.
There's no sympathy coming from me. Well, let's focus on this first shoot on the final leg, because it could be one that decides the outcome of this race. It will certainly play a part, because if Arndt Pfeiffer can hit 5 quickly, he could find himself right on the shoulders of teams 2 and 3. Lucas Hoffer, if he hits 5 in his normal shooting speed, he's going to exit the range with a decent amount of snow between himself and the Norwegians. Now, what tactics does he employ? We suggested that he'd be better having taken over in 2nd and 3rd position, but he's experienced enough, Mike.
Yes, he certainly is. We see some great days from him on the range, from Hoffer, but occasionally he has bad days. Hopefully today is one of his best. Taking the tension out of his fingers, controlling his breathing.
Low right, even further right.
Still trying to get the tension. I would say his alignment He's trying to get his alignment slightly better. What a mess.
That is an absolute nightmare for Lukas Hofer. 3 rounds, 3 targets to hit, and Emil Hegler Svensson could be the man to capitalise. 1, 2, 3, 4 go down, and number 5. And Svensson at the moment is the man who goes into the lead. And he was in this position in the Olympics in 2014, coming into the final shoot where he had a meltdown. So it is not over quite yet.
Hofer.
Italy are on the penalty loop, and all that fantastic work from Vitozzi and Vera and Vindish has been thrown away in the space of 25 seconds. Wow, what was going through his head? Slovakia, 4 out of 5. So he was shooting from left to right, Mike, and as he was going, the shots were going further and further right. Normally it's the other way.
It normally is. That kind of indicates, that's a good indicator of initial alignment. So he knew there was an issue. Something didn't feel right, and he was trying to release the tension in his hands and his shoulder.
Okay.
Well, that's a real pity. The flags are just trickling from the left.
Good shooting from Jesper Nellin. Still the Swedes have a chance of finishing in the top 3.
Freddie Lindstrom, anchor leg. That's good. Sweden back, putting themselves just, what, 20 seconds off the podium.
Russia with Anton Shapulin, 5 down with 6 shots. Finland get 5 with 5, so they're finishing off how they started. It was Kaisa Mäkäräinen took the second leg for Finland, had them in the lead for a short spell. Team 6 just settling. That's Ukraine with Artem Prima, who took over from Sergei Semenov. And the Swiss hitting 5 with 5, which, to be honest, they all should be doing with the conditions as they are at the moment. Or having said that, the wind has picked up, but particularly on the far side of the range, lanes 15 through to 30.
Well, there was so many surprises on that, on the prone for the last leg skiers. Just the stand shooting remaining. What a feel-good factor for Svensson.
Race leader Emil Hegler Svensson, and Kajar now at 21. So in effect, if the margins stay the same when they come in for that final shoot, Svensson will have a 2-shot advantage, definitely, possibly 3.
It's a feel-good factor every which way you look at it, but what a turnaround, Patrick. Svensson went into the range, 26.3 deficit. He's left the range with a 21-second advantage. We very rarely see such a turnaround. In fact, it's been a very long time since we've seen that kind of turnaround from the third athlete to the first in such a time deficit.
But if it can happen once, it can happen again. And these 3 men will be hoping that it does. If Svensson clears all 5 targets, do you think he's got it in the bag, even if he takes 8 rounds?
Yes, I think he has. I think he has. Pfeiffer, we know, so regularly can get 5 out of 5, especially in relays. He's quite comfortable when he's got a comfort zone. What about Hofer? His mind state right now, from going from first, as I said, with that massive advantage of 25, 26 seconds, to so far back now, 30 seconds behind.
Is this going to be the year that Freddie Lindstrom shines? Maybe the yellow suit will work the magic for the Swedish team this year. 51.6 at the third exchange. Sweden were 108 behind, so he's made a good gain, some 17 seconds gained by Lindstrom so far, and he's still got the rest of this lap and of course 1 more lap of 2.5 kilometers to ski.
So we have this little pack of 3 fighting for the second place, and then behind them we've got Lindstrom up on his own at 51 seconds behind, and then Shapulin 105. He'll definitely be trying to catch Lindstrom.
Yeah, and Shapulin's gained 20 seconds on the race leaders. I think he was given a little bit much to do, to be honest. 123, 124 he was handed the baton. There goes Svensson, and now can start to think about his final shoot, and he'll be delighted when he sees the chasers coming round the corner and sees how much gap he's got between them and himself. starting to ease down, trying to relax on the skis. It's not easy when there's a lot of loose snow around, but the ability to relax on the downhill is crucially important.
Really is, and coming in for a stand shoot, you want your legs to be, if you can, as recovered as possible. Of course, this is coming up to 5 kilometers of skiing, intense skiing on the terrain, the climbs that they've been on. And often the legs, especially in the longer races, the 20 kilometer as they'll have on Thursday, your legs are really trembling when you're in the stand shoot.
I was trying to think who the best downhill skier in biathlon would be, and the fact that it's hard to work out might be an indication that the downhill sections of the courses aren't testing enough.
They're not really. We see that in Oberhof, the extremely fast right-hander, and Lukas Hofer for me is one of the best. He tucks low, arms out wide.
Yeah, attacks.
Mazet must be feeling good about wearing the Norwegian badge right now, the Frenchman.
Now, can Svensson cope with the pressure that undoubtedly got to Lukas Hofer? It's even harder this time round. Don't think of Sochi and 2014. Two misses and the nerves will start to rattle, not only in Svensson's stomach, but in the rest of the Norwegian squad. 3 misses. Well, we
did not expect that.
We saw a dramatic turnaround. We said if all 5 targets go down, he fumbles the reloading, and Benedict Olaf Piper will be enjoying what he can see at the other end of the range.
Think of the mindset right now in Svensson. It's all about negativity.
Can Hofer make up for those mistakes? He's got his first target down. Germany with 1 down. Hofer now has 3. Is he going back in front? He's got 4. Oh, just throws 5 wide. That was very close for Lukas Hofer, and it could cost him the race, but a second place would be good. Germany are away. Italy go. So does Slovakia. We've got a 4-way race, but Svensson, with those mistakes, will be really pushing hard. I think he had the luxury of skiing fairly easy on that last loop, but he's not got this one in the bag quite yet. Fantastic finale we've got for this finish. But Mike, leading into the last shoot, it seems to be almost impossible to clear the 5.
Oh, it's tough. I'm wondering, will Norway look at a different anchorman the next race? Will Italy look at a different anchorman in the next relay? Certainly they'll review their thinking. I don't know what happened with Svensson there. He had time to build his position, take it easy. He really tightened up to miss 3 out of 5 targets in the stand.
So
got
8 shoots out of 8 completed. Norway, Slovakia, Italy, Germany and Sweden hanging on to a top 5. Now Lukas Hofer is without a doubt trying to make up for his mistakes early on, and you've got to give him credit. He's a real fighter. Just trying to think, if it comes down to a sprint, Mike, Svensson in his early days was a fabulous finisher, but often we saw him sprinting against Bjorndalen, which might have given us a false sense of how good he was. What about Hofer versus Svensson?
Well, I'm just looking at that there. The anger or the frustration that Hofer has had in this race, it's changed his mindset. He's just feeling angry, and that's not a bad feeling at the moment. Svensson against Foucault, remember in Sochi as well, he could outsprint some of the best. He is a good finisher, is Svensson.
Maciej Kazar thought about going past Hofer, but found that he had to go into the deep snow to achieve it, and rapidly got in behind the Italian again. So far, Piper hasn't really pushed the pace on this lap. I wonder whether he's saving something for the last 500 metres.
He's also a strong finisher when he gets up with him. I think Svensson's best bet right now is to keep that gap no matter what, because the terrain leading into the finish, it buys him safety to be out front if he can handle the pain.
That 100-metre climb to the turn just above the stadium, that could be the decisive part of this course once they've completed this climb, and you want to have some energy for that, because I think we're going to see some fireworks on that last serious bit of uphill. Svensson has to go, approaching 6.2 now, 1,300 metres to go from the timing wand, and that is going to take them just around 2 minutes 50, maybe a little bit more than that.
He's a wise owl now is Svensson, and he knows he has to try so hard to keep them away. Do not allow them contact. What about Slovakia, still in 3rd place? Kazar.
Svensson had a gap of 5 seconds over Kazar coming out of the range. He was 6 up on Italy. He was 7 up on Pfeiffer. And they've all taken a second and a half, 2 seconds out of him. And it's Lucas Hoffer who is digging deepest of all. He is very, very eager to get the win. Finally, Kazar finds that he's got nothing left. And I'm still slightly surprised to see that Pfeiffer hasn't made a move. But I guess not quite at optimal race fitness. Hoffer, look over the shoulder. I think he'll be glad that he's shaken off Kazar. Now he can think about the tactics involved in getting to terms with Svensson.
Well, that look was just a little too long for me, as if Hoffer is now just keeping safe in second place. He really has to keep trying for Svensson.
This next climb is his only chance, Mike. If he's on the heels of Svensson at the top, he'll get a drag down the hill, up that final little incline, and then maybe get a bit more recovery before they go into the stadium for that home sprint. But Svensson's likely to...
Well, Svensson stood up quite early. Hoffer managed to take the glide much, much further around the bend. Svensson knows that by allowing contact, he's knocking his chances way back. He has to get down this hill with momentum.
1.4 seconds. Hoffer has got to stay low. He's got to try and get in the slipstream, but he's not quite close enough. Another 3 or 4 meters might have made all the difference. Svensson, those teeth are gritted now. He's a good finisher, as we said. What can Hoffer do? It's agonizingly close, but I think he's going to really struggle because he's not got the... Had he had the Swede skis on, I think Hoffer might have made it.
Well, that's incredible. Good for Svensson. He knew that he had to keep that door open. He couldn't allow that gap to close. And he's bought himself, I think, the victory.
Norway, they won last year in this event with Osbu, Birkeland, Bjorndal and Bo. And of course, they won 2 years ago with Birkeland, Eckhoff and the 2 Bo brothers. Today, they take the title with Svensson on the anchor leg. Johannes Tingis did a good job on leg 3. Tyrrell Eckhoff solid on leg 2. And Ingrid Landmark Tandrevold started it all off. And actually, Tandrevold skiing much, much better than she did last year. I was quite impressed with her.
It was a very good performance. Her shooting, I mentioned her stats earlier, 86 and 73. She looked much better this year. And well, great credit to Hoffer as well as Sweden come in. Hoffer to ski the way he skied. He punished himself for making the mistakes on the range.
Did he make up for the mistakes?
He did. Silver medal.
Germany in 3rd position. Slovakia, fantastic fight from them. Remember, they're ranked 14. They finished 4th. And Sweden, I think if you'd offered them 5th last night, they might just have taken. Russia and France fighting it out for 6th and 7th. And Russia with Anton Shapulin getting the better of the French with Simon Dessieux on the last leg. There's Tyrrell Eckhoff.
Always smiling.
Yeah, especially when she's got a win.
Tandrevold, that's a good feeling for her as well.
Great test for Svensson, but he didn't exactly come through it with flying colours. I know he's got the win, but those 3 misses on that last stand.
That has to knock his confidence a little. And with all the excitement up the front, Patrick, at the back of the race, it's 21st position. America have not had a good day with 2 penalty laps. 4:27 behind at the final shooting.
And the Canadians down in 15. Japan get a finish. There are 4 or 5 behind after the last shoot. Any other teams we should be picking up on?
Surprising. Yes, they won the single mixed relay. Maybe they want to put those 2 athletes, Ada and Hauser, into this mixed relay because they're down in 18th at the moment.
12 teams of those still in the race going on the penalty loop. I think 15 in all have tasted the penalty loop today, which in these conditions is unusual. If we get the traditional Oestersund wind next week, we could see even worse shooting.
That was surprising today. I'm just wondering, we didn't see much movement in the flags, but if the wind was coming from the front, that pushes the rounds down a little for the pro, and it doesn't affect the stand as much.
Is there any endurance event where you see the positions change so often during a race?
Is there any event where you take your heartbeat so high and then you have to, in an instant, do something which requires absolute calm and control? It really is a storm physically to try and keep calm mentally.
2 minutes, 51 seconds behind.
Czech Republic 2:51 behind. Don't forget that Sukalova wasn't racing for them today. She was probably worth 20-30 seconds. She might have seen them into the top 10. Poland 14th in all, and Poland doing no penalty loops, just 10 missed targets, so not bad shooting from them. Best shots on the day. Italy at one stage had by far and away the best shooting, but with Lucas Hoffer doing a penalty loop, they ended up with 7 misses in all.
I think that was a real test for Svensson. He left the range only ahead of Hoffer 6.2 seconds. At the end of the day, it was 5.3, but Hoffer was on his case on every millimetre around that 2.5 kilometres. That was a real fight, a real challenge.
Svensson's now the old boy in the team, and I think that hurt him.
That hurt him. It really did. You could feel the fear that he may have been caught there, but he kept the fight strong. The pain in the face and the legs. And of course this venue, Patrick, this is where he really came to, as we mentioned earlier, where he started winning his medals at a major championships in 2008. Lithuania, Austria 18th position, 4:14 behind.
It's hard to believe that Svensson's best year was in 2009, 2010 when he took the overall World Cup title.
What about Korea with the Olympics going that way, of course, in February? In fact, their team here, the quartet, is made up of, well, 2 Russians and 2 Koreans.
4:37 behind. The achievement is to finish. So, good opening day to the biathlon season. They've got 2 rest days now while they start to prepare for the individual races. And I think the conditions look better than they've been for a long time here, Mike. They've always had to work hard with the artificial snow, but at least it looks like winter. Well, hopefully we'll have a program for next week coming up, just to let you know what's going on. The individual is traditionally the first event here, the longest of the races, 20 kilometers for the men, the 15 for the women.
Yeah, Wednesday, the women's individual in the afternoon, 4:15, I think.
Yeah, just one race on the Wednesday, then the men race on Thursday, sprints on Friday, Saturday, and then the first of the season's pursuits on Sunday. But today, it's about the relays, and Norway have won the mixed relay.
Du bjuder på ett fantastiskt snabbt skytte idag. Jag vet att du har jobbat väldigt hårt med det här. Hur var din känsla där ute och så här efteråt?
Ja, precis. Tog kanske lite tid på mig till första skottet i liggande, men sen var serien jättefin och ja, men stående, ja, det är nog bra.
Kände du det?
Nej. Nej, men det är inte.
Men då vågar jag gå på.
When you missed after you get it,
I was shooting.